Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday the 5th of February 2025. You are watching Tom. My name is Tom. Welcome to the EV show by Ludicrous Feed on tonight's live stream. Nice of you to join. It's nice to see you all actually after a bit of a break from myself and Riz. Speaking of Riz, let's get him on the show right now. Hello Riz, nice to see you as always.
Hey Tom, good to be on. Now, we've obviously followed up with some of your recent travels. You've been to you were in Australia, it was quite hot. You were in very cool places, and then you got into some place a bit more tropical, and now you're back here. Man, international man.
Yes, it's a bit of a holiday with the family, but also, tried to cover as much as I could. Seeing what I could in Korea and Singapore as well over the last month. So it's nice to have a little break, but also good to be back as well with yourself, Riz, and others as well watching tonight. So nice to see you all as always. Let's say hello to some of our early listeners and viewers on at the moment. So hello, Sydney Evie. Hello, Aaron. Nice to see you. Hello, Murray. A bit warm throughout the East Coast. I can see warm in Tassie. Warm in Sydney as well, actually. I can see you're warm in Melbourne as well, Riz.
Yeah, that's right. I just had to turn the aircon on in the Spectre today. It was just to make sure everything's a bit cool, but yeah, pretty warm here as well.
Yeah, could probably power the whole house, the Spectre. Hello, everyone else. Hello, Gary. Hello, Scott. I can see you. Hello, Grandpa. Hello, Peter. Yes, nice to see you all on tonight's show. Yeah, let's chat about, as always, everyone. And you're good to be back. February 2025. It's already February. Can you believe it? And we are not actually far away from the Everything Electric show coming up in Sydney from the 7th to the 9th of March 2025. So we're not too far away indeed. So I will be there as one of the guests, and I think Riz will be speaking as well. So make sure you come along to Sydney. And I think Melbourne's also got a show as well later in the year. That's been confirmed as well, 14th to the 16th of November 2025, which is good to see. Yeah. If you'd like to win some tickets to that show, all you need to do is just type in the comments there, #electric. And we'll give away 2 double passes tonight for the Sydney show in early March. So #electrics, that's all you need to do. And we'll draw that towards the end of the show for the Sydney Everything Electric show coming up in March. Okay, well, let's kick on with the show. We might actually start chatting, Riz, about, of course, sales figures for EVs for January 2025, so the first month this year.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an interesting one. I mean, we probably were expecting it to be a bit of a quiet month after Christmas and New Year's and the rest. But this year, the sales are a little bit lower than what they were last year as well. But overall, the market feels a little bit sluggish. I'm not sure if things will sort of pick up. I'm hoping in February there's a lot more deliveries of some of the newer models, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But overall, everybody had a fairly quiet sort of a month from EV models' point of view.
Yeah, and I believe the general automobile market in Australia was down in general as well. So you can see written here, 87,000 sales compared to 99,000 sales from December. So Riz, I guess that can be kind of expected. Start of the year, people are kind of still on holidays. We know Australia doesn't really start till the 20. Australia business doesn't really start till the 27th of January, right after National Day celebrations. But hopefully in February we'll see stuff starting to pick up. Let's have a look at some of the figures. So in January 2024, EVs made up 5.5% of the market. Bit of a decline in 2025, that's fine. And we've got all the figures now from FCAI and EVC as well. So that's a pretty genuine figure there, 5.5%. Is that right? No, hang on, that's January.
So that was, it would be 4.4% for January in 2025. Just over 1% down from where things were last year. Couple of different factors. Obviously, Tesla, there's multiple reasons sort of behind their sales in the month. Obviously, they introduced a brand new model as well in the Model Y, and a lot of interested buyers will probably hold off on that. But the rest of the market, MG4, as you can see, did fairly well
You're on mute. There is.
Sorry, 440
Okay.
sales for MG4. And then Kia EV5, obviously all the promo they've been doing around Australian Open and
Mm.
just in general. I mean, maybe our viewers and listeners can tell me otherwise, but I've seen some of those TV ads for the EV5, and it says something along the lines of zombie proof. Now, I'm not sure what a vehicle needs to be that's potentially zombie proof, but if anyone knows the answer, please put it into the chat or leave it in the comments below, because I don't know. I don't get it. But whatever it is, obviously a lot of people are scared of zombies, so they're buying a fair few of them.
One of my favorite zombie movies is actually The Train to Busan, which is a Korean zombie movie. So maybe that's sort of tied into the EV5 zombie
Could
theme there.
be.
Don't know. That's quite a good movie. Check that out if you haven't had a chance to. But yeah, let's have a look at some of the figures here. So Tesla Model Y still leading the pack there, 465 sales. As you said, MG4 holding steady, 440 with the discounts over the last few months. EV5 doing well. Model 3, yeah, despite the update, 274 sales, so that slumped a little bit. Good to see BMW still holding its own there. And e-tron, Audi e-tron sort of making up the top 5 now. The BYD's disappointing. They've dropped a few places there. Atto 3, 105, Dolphin 85, and Seal's actually dropped out of the top 10.
Yeah, it was sort of Seal was around maybe 65 or something like that, I think, for the month. It was surprising given they had pretty significant price cuts across all three variants of the Seal. So not sure if it's to do with stock availability. Bit hard to tell, but maybe they're clearing the decks for the Sealion 7.
Yes, that's true, actually. We know that the Sealion 6 is probably their best-selling car, not just EV, but the best-selling car from BYD at the moment. Interesting to see the Toyota BZ4X featuring there in the top 12 or so, 80 sales, and that's actually selling pretty well in Norway, which is obviously the biggest EV market in the world in terms of percentage anyway.
It is quite interesting how Toyota is positioning that car. Obviously, a lot of stuff around the electric offering, and I guess it's the only electric offering they have. So yeah, 80 sales, interesting. We'll see if that sort of holds up, but I mean, compared to I think other brands, other legacy brands that are a bit more serious, like Kia with their EV5 and their EV3 that's about to come out, I think those two models will eclipse anything Toyota brings in 2025.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize the ID4 and ID5 were actually available in Australia now.
No, I spotted them in the data today because they weren't, I think, last year, but yeah, they've just popped up. It was only the ID Buzz that was selling sort of closer to the end of last year. So yeah, there's a few of them, despite them promising that it was going to come for years now, even before Cupra Born was released back at the end of 2022.
That's true. That's true. They've been promising for a while. We've been seeing them at various, expos and shows around town, around the country. So it's good to see them finally. Maybe they're just sitting in dealerships for now, Riz, for the moment. 16 sales.
Yeah, we just don't know. Maybe they are the dealership ones. I haven't heard anything about a media launch or anything like that. But then again, Volkswagen might want to keep it as secret as the arrival of these vehicles, since they've been telling everyone that for a long time. But yeah, maybe it is time.
And these are deliveries, aren't they? As someone pointed out, or a few people have pointed out in the comments there. These aren't sales. These are actual cars delivered into customer hands or their final destination.
Yeah, there's supposed to be more registrations now, not the way it used to be once upon a time. So vehicles in these numbers have to be sort of registered on the road. So yeah, I guess we'll find out. But between ID4 and ID5, 16 sales. Skoda's obviously selling the Enyaq as well at the moment. So it's a similar sort of a car to the ID4 or ID5. But yeah, I guess time will tell when we start to see a few more and then actually do a proper media launch. Because you would suspect Volkswagen being an iconic legacy brand for it to have a lot of press and PR and media when they do launch something. So this is a little bit suspicious.
Very much so, yep. I'm curious also to see that Polestar 4, which featured in the top 10, I think last time we chatted back in December, when they were launched. They have not actually sold much more than that this month. They have not actually not featuring this list at the moment, which is interesting.
I think Polestar entire like across their 3 models sold about 80 or 82 cars. So, and Polestar 2 I think sold 20. That's I mean, given BYD sold, what is it, 60 or 50 or 60 Seals, maybe people are just not vibing with sedans.
It's a shame. I do love sedans. I love wagons as well. Yeah, I mean, look, the market is down as we know, so we'll keep an eye on these figures as the year goes on. Yeah, good question from Andrew here. I saw someone else say this as well. Why no sales figures for Xpeng at the moment? ZCorrect obviously still not showing. Deepal, all these cars maybe not delivered yet.
No, they've definitely had deliveries, but they're just not reporting to FCAI, and they're not reporting to Electric Vehicle Council either at the moment.
Okay.
And which is fine. You don't have to pick any sides, as in you don't have to pick who you report through. But at the moment, they're not doing it. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea of how many they're delivering based on the other alternative data sets that we get. But Xpeng's big delivery month is February. They've really started to deliver quite a few, although they started late last year. But the big delivery month is this month because they've just had shipment of a fairly large delivery, sort of closer to the end of January. But
So
once they, sorry, Tom.
I was going to say, Riz, how will you track these numbers if they're not being reported through the two main sources?
Well, we're getting stuff through our pipelines with transport departments. We know what's happening, particularly on the East Coast as such. So if our viewers and listeners are interested, I could present some of that stuff next time around. But I guess once they do start to deliver in large numbers, they will find a way of sort of reporting their sales as well. So EV sales are likely to be higher than 4.4%.
I hope so. Yeah, it's still early days, of course. We're still. This is only delivery data from the first month, so hopefully that'll start to pick up. Just quickly before I move on to something else, I just want to quickly welcome our new viewers tonight who've just joined us. We are giving away tickets to the Everything Electric show in Sydney coming up in March, not far away, probably 4 or 5 weeks or so away. So that'll be in Sydney at the Sydney Olympic Park Showground. 7th to 9th of March, literally 4 weeks away, and we've got tickets to give away, so 2 double passes tonight. So all you need to do is just type #electric into the live chat there, and we'll draw it at the end of the show. So only 1 entry per account, please. And also, Everything Electric is also coming to Melbourne for the first time, 14th to 16th of November. And hopefully Riz will bring a Spectre to the show and let everyone see and sit inside.
I'll bring 2.
Now, the elephant in the room is just back to the sales data is, of course, Tesla. Now, there's no secret that Tesla sales are down. You can see the Model 3, numbers there, 274. You'd expect maybe Model Y to be down if people are waiting for the new Model Y to be delivered, but the 3's been around now for a while. And it's been sitting around first or second over the last 12 months, but for it to drop to fourth is very interesting, Riz. Like, what is causing this? I mean, we've got a few theories here, but let's start to unpack it all in front of our viewers here, and give us your thoughts too, guys. Why is Tesla sales numbers dropping, relatively speaking?
Look, the most mainstream media friendly sort of reasoning would be that because of Elon Musk and all the things that he's been involved with. Yes, there's part of it is the truth that is having a particular impact. But then that might just be an Australian story, in the sense that over in China, it's a completely different story. I think with the Model Y launching, and I don't think we've had much of a chance to discuss on this show, but there's just significant demand there for the new model, despite whatever's going on in the US with everything to do with Musk. So yes, partially that's true. The other part is they've had a pretty big month in December. So December, they had quite a few deliveries of the Model 3 and obviously the Model Y as well. And the new Model Y hadn't been announced at that stage. And I guess one of the other key reasons as well is, for whatever reason, Tesla has not discounted the Model 3 any further. So in the US, for example, they're offering like referral program. There's like $2,500 off the price of our Model 3 at the moment. We haven't seen anything like that yet. So for whatever reason, Tesla's pretty comfortable with the sales that they're getting. But also maybe they just accepted the fact that it is a sedan, and if sedans are not selling well at all, that could be one of the other reasons that the market is just very much geared towards SUVs. And I guess the last little bit is, without fully understanding their delivery cycle at the moment, it's likely they may not have enough stock in the country at the moment, because there were shipping delays on certain shipments as well. And we saw this maybe about 18 months ago as well, with a couple of ships with lots of Model Ys on them. But yeah, many reasons. I guess if we will probably unpack it in weeks to come as more sort of information comes to surface. There's a data set we usually track about which vehicles are coming into the country. And we haven't received the update on what happened in December or January yet. So that will give a pretty clear picture on what some of the reasoning could be. So if they had a whole lot of cars shipped in January and they just didn't sell them, then we'll think there's a lot of inventory. So Tesla would either need to cut prices, do something to move that stuff, put it on leasing offers and whatever. But we just don't have that information just yet.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess postulation. I guess what's interesting too is that they were kind of giving discounts at the end of last year. I remember there were, like you said, leasing discounts through Innovator Leasing. $3,000 off if you went through their leasing partner. So there were some discounts, but probably not to the extent they were giving away in the US. So, and Tesla Model 3 has been sitting, like I said, in the top 1 or 2 for the last 12 months. So something has obviously caused this to happen, whether it's objectively through sales, through deliveries, people waiting for something else, Model Y, people waiting for the new Juniper version. But I guess we should probably tackle, objectively speaking, they're great cars. Look, there's people, you have to accept they're good cars, whether you like them or not. They're well built, efficient vehicles. Styling, design is possibly subjective, but you can't. I guess it's hard to disagree that they are good vehicles. They've sold well over the last few years in Australia, but something's obviously triggered it. You mentioned the Musk, issue. He's been quite obviously vocal in the US with the elections and ongoing since Trump's inauguration. I guess the question is that kind of overtness from Musk, is that putting people off? Is that, we're not AI here, we're humans, right? We can look at the cars on paper and compare the specs and all that, but at the end of the day, people have to be happy with the purchase they make. And is all this rhetoric, is that putting people off, right? Do we have data on that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of research being done, in the sense that there's a couple of websites out of the UK that are doing some sort of survey. It's hard to tell whether they're just doing it for the sake of getting more. They'll get more clicks if they say, oh, half the people in the UK don't want to buy a Tesla because of Musk, or whatever it is. So there's various different things. I think there's always different agendas for all of those publications as well. Pretty hard to tell sort of directly from the numbers themselves. One of the, I think, more important things to look at is Tesla locally does very little to promote anything. So whether it's their cars, their features, anything new that's happening, the social media accounts are very quiet from Tesla in general. I mean, they're quietly chipping away at the moment, building Australia's biggest charging site, which we'll probably cover a bit later on. And they're just doing it without really telling anyone, without really saying anything. So part of the problem sort of lies around them not educating the general public around their product, but EVs more broadly, their supercharger network, which is, I just don't understand why they don't talk more about it. It's, the most convenient, the most easiest. All the improvements that have happened in EV networks, ChargeFox over the last couple of years that people have really made a big deal out of, Tesla's had for a long time. That's that whole experience thing. But they don't talk about that. They don't market it. They don't advertise. So those things eventually, when the market sort of, if you expect people to keep walking through your doors, aka Tesla showrooms, they no longer have to, because there's so many other options. We've got the BYDs, we've got XPeng, Zeekr, or Kia, all these traditional places where people would normally go. They've got those options now, and just that's what that external education piece, there needs to be a lot more on that. But yeah, until the company sort of decides to make that change, it's going to be a bit of a slow ride for Tesla locally, I think.
As you said, there's a lot of choice now. Look at all these very good cars that we can see on this page here. Like, not just the Chinese cars, but other brands also bringing quite good offerings as well. But yeah, lots from China. A lot of the cars not listed here too. XPeng, Deepal, Leap Motor, all that stuff we're going to look forward to over the next few months as Riz brings us that data. So yeah, I think personally it's probably still too early to tell, particularly because the new Juniper Model Y is about to be delivered this year too. So I'm curious to see how many of those orders come through for Tesla and whether they can still retain that lead. So interesting times ahead.
One parallel, Tom, that I'm sure our listeners and viewers will appreciate as well, is that there was a lot of commentary around what happened when Tesla finally released the Highland, right? Which sort of started in December 2023 was the first batch. And then they had to put a pause on that car because they were trying to rectify, I think it was like the tethering issues, or the what was it? They had to put a stop on it because it didn't comply with ADR.
The child seat restraints.
That's it. Yes. So they put a stop on that so they could ensure that at factory those things could be done, and then there was a retrofit for those that took deliveries. Overall, 2024 saw sort of a decline, and that's in Model 3 sales. Partially probably because people were just, they have a lot more choices now. The Seal was starting to take off. The BYD Seal was available. A couple of other stands came as well. So as the market competition increases, the best product, people have many choices now.
Yep.
And if one company is doing more to educate consumers or advertise and be in their face a lot more, it's sort of what competition does. Tesla China is very different. Like, and Tom, you and I, you've covered this on the couple of the tours that you've done, where we walked into the Tesla sort of showrooms, or more like shops and shopping centers, and they've got a whole lot of educational stuff playing around. The staff actively come and try and talk to you. They've got printed magazines. They've got lifestyle magazines. They do a lot of activations. They do sometimes allow for factory tours or set up displays outside of their showrooms. We don't have any of that here. They sent a Cybertruck down for a bit of a road show, and that was basically it. I think there needs to be a lot more concerted effort, and it will not only help Tesla, it will help the broader EV knowledge and understanding for people to make the switch.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit sparse here in our showrooms, but look, I think the charging network obviously is second to none still. It's so much easier to road trip in a Tesla, and if you can get access to a Tesla Supercharger, it'll make your life a lot easier. As I discovered with an XPeng G6, couldn't access the Superchargers, just the networks here other than Tesla is just a bit harder to get around in. But look, I think for me personally, the Tesla car, the brand is still rock solid. It's still a really, objectively speaking, probably arguably speaking, the best car to road trip in, because it's so easy with the Supercharger network. It's just, obviously there's a lot of noise around the vehicle still. It's almost a distraction. Like with the videos that I post, half the comments will be about what Elon's done rather than the actual car itself. It's hard to ignore. But like I said, I think it's still too early days, so we'll keep an eye on the figures as the new Model Y gets delivered. So stay tuned, everyone. It's going to be very interesting. All right, let's keep pushing on. Speaking of the Model Y, so I got a chance to look at the new Model Y in the flesh in Singapore last couple of weeks. I think Singapore was actually the first right-hand drive market to have a Model Y on display. I couldn't believe my luck that I was actually in the country, and so I popped down to have a look. I've got a video on this as well, so check that out too. But yeah, Riz, I was pretty impressed, I got to say. It looks a lot better in person than on paper. So hopefully that'll come to Australia soon for us to look at.
Yeah, I saw your video, Tom. I mean, pretty good perspective. You're there, you're seeing it. It seems to have a lot of, I mean, in person, cars can always look a little bit different. One thing I'm quite interested in, and we saw a whole lot of this in China, the badge in the back of most, like a lot of the new cars, it's sort of illuminated. So it's sort of like you've got a illuminated Volkswagen badge. So at night you'll see it at the back. It's apparently an ADR, Australian Design Rule situation, where you can't have that in Australia. But this particular rear end with that glowing light bar that will glow onto the road behind the car, that would be pretty cool to see at night. It would be pretty iconic as well, because you could, I don't know any other car that does that yet. So yeah, and styling wise, Tom, you've driven the Xpeng G6. There were a lot of people locally in Australia that said basically Tesla's copied Xpeng. Your thoughts seeing it in person?
Yeah, look, I got to say the front looks very Xpeng-ish. Probably not so much the G6, but it looked a lot like the G7 that just got released recently in China. So you see that light bar at the front. That looks very Model Y-esque. So look, I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to say who copied what. Like, it's like saying the motor car copied the horse, right? It's like inspiration drawn from each other over the years and generation of vehicles. So I'm not too fussed about what each car looks like. The industry kind of moves along as a whole, I think, as a collective. So I'm not too worried. Look, I think it's a better looking vehicle. You can still tell it's a Y from the side. That hasn't changed too much with the shape, but yeah, nice little styling details here at the front. It looks a lot less stout in person. Like on paper, it looks quite bubbly, but I think when you get there, it's like, okay, you can see what they're trying to do there with the lights and the extra sort of plastic bits at the back as well. Yeah, so I think, and then the light bar looks quite good at the back. Sorry, the rear Tesla logo with the lights looks quite good too. So yeah, I think it'd be good to finally test this on our roads. I'm curious to see what this little light does too. There's one on each side. That's not in the current generation Model Y.
Yeah. So is it sort of the same light beam coming through, or do you think it would be something a little bit different? Because if it's different, it would be like a fair few Chinese cars. I know Li Auto's vehicles in China, when they're on sort of the self-driving mode, they have these little lights around the car that I think glow blue or green or something else to tell people outside that it's driving. It's sort of doing its autonomous mode, so the driver isn't really fully driving the car.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there's something there, or maybe we're just looking too far into it.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, sure, software could probably fix, alter it to whatever they want. Maybe it's a charge indicator. How much charge you got in the battery? Who knows? Yeah, we'll find out. No V2L that I could see, and they couldn't tell me whether it was activated or not. So I don't think that's coming. What I was interested too was that little sign here you can see there for display, for sale, not for sale, for display only. That little perspex sign above the screen there. I mean, I spoke with Darren, who I caught up with, Darren Jung from Singapore, who owns a YouTube channel as well there. He said that it's open for orders in Singapore, so I'm not sure why that little sign was there. Maybe this particular variant or this particular non-launch edition is not available for sale yet. I'm not sure. We couldn't work out why. Yep. Yeah, regardless, quite a lot of interest, as you can see. This photo is from a Saturday, so people going through this shopping center called Ion Orchard, which is one of the big ones in town, and yeah, lots of eyes and ears on the car, so to speak. So yeah, well done to Tesla for doing that pop-up store there.
Now, with the Model Y, Tom, we obviously are seeing this, and there's the Sealion 7, which is about a week away from being unveiled. February the 12th, for all our listeners and viewers, is what I've heard, is the day they're going to be announcing, I guess, the details, the pricing. For most sort of avid EV enthusiasts, we sort of already know what we're going to get, two variants. We're not going to get the super fast charging one with a huge battery and the rest, but at least it's another option that is for anyone considering a mid-sized electric SUV.
Yeah, that's right. I got a chance to see that as well in a shopping mall. They've got a big BYD store there with a cafe. You can buy an Atto 3 Luxor if you really want from that store, which is pretty cool. But I actually managed to see one in the wild too. So this was just walking around town. I saw this just in the rain, which is cool. So they actually look pretty good as well in person. It looks quite sporty. See that like coupe shape? I think probably honestly better looking than the Sealion 6, like a lot
Mm.
lower to the ground, bit sportier, nice slip up the back. So I think if you want a different-ish design to the Sealion 6, if you want a BEV, obviously then the Sealion 7 is the way to go. Yeah, like looks good on the inside. Looks pretty much like a Seal in SUV form, and the infotainment interface looks slightly better as well compared to my Seal. So yeah, should be good to hopefully get a test drive after the Feb 12th. That's what's been speculated for the launch. Cool. I just want to also thank some of our viewers who have given away memberships too. Thanks so much, everyone. I just want to pop. Who was it? I've forgotten now. Lost track. Here we go. So Grandpa. No, sorry. Did you give memberships? You did. Yes. Grandpa gave 5 memberships. Thank you, Grandpa. And someone else up here as well. Thanks, Jason, for gifting 5 memberships. We really appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for all your comments, guys. Don't forget hashtag electric if you want to win some tickets tonight for the Everything Electric show coming up in Sydney in a month's time. Question for you, Riz. Does the Sealion 7 have 800 volt architecture?
I believe it does. But yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it does because it's not. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. You got me there, Andrew. I'll have to do my own research and or anyone else can chime in. I think it is.
Well, see, I think my Seal, they're saying the Seal already has 800 volts, but it's just throttled at the moment, which I think this is what the Sealion 7 will have as well. We don't have the EVO3 platform, which can charge at the higher rates. This will just be like around 150 as well, I think. So that's from memory. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
if
it's
anyone knows.
Well, the only 800 volt car that I'm really interested in this year is the Zeekr 7X.
Yes, yes.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, if only we had chargers that could reliably give us that speed, Riz, between Sydney and Melbourne, for example. Well, Sutton Forest, that's at least got a fast charger there.
I think some of the new BP ones are 400 kilowatts. Maybe the Epping and the it's either 350 or 400 kilowatts. But yeah, I'm hoping with these faster charging cars coming, there'll be more options. At least at a charging hub, have a couple of the ultra fast chargers there as well.
Oh, we need Zeekr Power, right? That'll be great to have them install their fast chargers, right? To actually make the 7X charge quick. Because even in a Tesla Supercharger, you can't get that kind of speed in an 800 volt car because those chargers are only 400 volts. So that, like Kia, for example, I think Kia EV6, EV9, Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6, they can only charge at 90 to 100 kilowatts because of that difference in voltage.
Yeah,
which is a shame. But look, I think any charge is better than no charge, honestly. So, all right, let's keep going. Got Hal saying all Seal and Sealions get 800 volts this year. Okay, thank you. Whether we can actually get those speeds, we'll have to test it, of course. And Aaron, I agree. Our chargers make it pointless in Australia. There's just no point, unfortunately.
And I guess the other part is with the BYD products, it's sort of limited by the battery as well. Like, because to get the 230 kilowatts that they're promising with the e-platform 3.0, you sort of need the 91 point something kilowatt hour top spec battery in the Sealion 7 to get those sort of speeds, which is funnily enough is going to the UK. I don't understand that, why UK gets a different spec.
Well, they've got better chargers there, so maybe that's why.
Probably, yeah.
That would help. Sticking with BYD, so BYD Brookvale on the Northern Beaches opening up. So good to see more dealerships. It's pretty flush. What else we got? We've got wagons making a comeback. BYD joins wagon resurgence from Chinese brands.
Yeah, so this one, I'm not sure if it's based on the Seal 06 GT, which is sort of their what is it? It's sort of like a large hatchback.
Yeah, looks almost like a wagon, doesn't it?
But this one probably is the stretched version of that, yeah.
Do love a wagon, Riz.
That's it.
Yeah.
If we had
Zeekr 7.
Neos, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's a Zeekr 007, 001, 007. Is it GT, the wagon?
GT.
GT, yeah. Yeah, hopefully they make a comeback. Okay, this bit of news here from Jason saying that new BYD models could be sourced from Indonesia. Could make our cars a bit cheaper, maybe. Easier to come by as well. Quicker deliveries. And thank you, Roland, for posting this. Deepal has 3 new retail sites opening. So we've got Perth, one in Adelaide, and one in Newstead, which is in Queensland, Brisbane. It's good. Excellent. And this was spotted a few times actually over the summer. So IML6, which is this semi-solid state battery vehicle from SAIC. So I think, Riz, this might be branded as MG, I guess, when it comes to Australia.
Possibly. I think one thing worth noting for the semi-solid state one, that's supposed to be in there what they call the Lightyear edition, and the Lightyear edition is yet to be released in China as well. But if that sort of tech does get proven to be the right one, maybe in the next year or so we will see a whole lot of these with that semi-solid state battery as well. So interesting. Now, well, one thing this photo confirms is that it can charge at a supercharger.
Yeah, that's right. And that's important, as I found out. Don't take it for granted. I'm going to test every vehicle before I go for a long drive now, before I get stuck again. Yeah, what does semi-solid state mean, right? I mean, theoretically, with less electrolyte, less fire risk, denser battery, that kind of stuff. I mean, we were still waiting for the golden goose, that fully solid state battery, but is semi-solid a marketing thing? I mean, is there such thing as semi-solid?
Apparently
MG.
Neo has also got a couple of their products, I believe, with the semi-solid state pack. So not sure if it's a purely marketing thing, but I would like to see a bit of battery swapping action going on in Australia. Hopefully we'll see that with Onvo. The interior in this car looks, pretty interesting. But, I think we hopefully will see that in the next couple of months. It'll be a good indication of what MG or IM really wants to bring to our market. More options, but then we've also just discussed earlier in the show that sedans aren't really the hottest selling things at the moment, but I guess more options are always better.
I remember, Riz, when our first time to China with Zeekr, we spotted the IM brand. It was quite interesting. Like, the back of the IM looks really nice. The SUVs, one of the better looking rears, I think, in a car that I've seen in a while. So yeah, hopefully this will come very soon. Given that the testing here is a good sign, so keep an eye on it. This one will definitely deserve a road trip. See whether we can do that one stop between Sydney and Melbourne. Leon asks, has any SAIC car had any issues at a supercharger? I think the ZS EV might have an issue, but I think the MG4 can charge at a supercharger.
Yeah, 4 can definitely charge at superchargers.
Yep, that's important. I think you've
and
tested
actually,
it
Deepal SO7 can charge at a supercharger. I had it a couple of weeks ago, so that's all good.
Yep, correct. I did that as well, so that's important. I think if it's a 400-volt vehicle, it should be able to charge. It's the 800-volt ones that I'm not too certain about. Got to test those ones. Okay, thanks. We've got a super chat here. Thanks, Aaron. Good question. Tavascan, Cupra Tavascan, is it worth waiting for, or do you think the Enyaq is the go? Enyaq top sales in December 2024 for Europe, I heard.
I think looking at the Tavascan in person, it makes the Enyaq looks a little bit of a last generation car, because the Enyaq is, it is that previous gen from the inside and from the outside as well. It's, if you're looking for a more conservative sort of an SUV from sort of the Volkswagen group, then yeah, Enyaq's a good sort of option. But I think the Tavascan really looks apart. It's quite a nice car.
I agree. There was one at Artarmon Cupra recently I went to have a look at. So there's a video on that too. Aaron, check that out on my channel. But I do like Tavascan. It looks quite nice. In fact, all Cupra cars look really good, to be honest with you. It's just a shame it's got the VW software, which hopefully will be updated. I don't know. And same with the Enyaq too. It's very VW-ish on the inside. And I agree, Riz. It feels a bit older gen compared to the Tavascan. So I think, personally, I think it's worth waiting for a test drive at least before you jump in. Do we have any sales on the Enyaq in your list? Or is that a
Yeah,
bit too low
not
down?
not on the top sort of sales list. I think they sold. Let me double check. Um, they did sell a few, but it wasn't. I think it was under the top sort of Skoda.
Mm.
So we have Enyaq. Oh yes,
And it's
17.
17 sales
Yeah,
in January. Okay.
in January. Yeah,
Okay. That's around what? How much was it? Was it 80? Is that, am I
it's
right?
70 to
80,000?
80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do get a long range battery though, so that's something at
Hmm.
least. If you really want a European car, then that's an option at least as well. Cool. Let's take some more comments. So, question from Ben. Hi, Tom. Do you expect to be getting a BYD Shark 6 for a local test drive soon? Yes, I am. BYD are very, what's the word? A bit frugal with their test drives. It's only like three-day test drives for media at the moment, so I will have a 3-day test drive. I think in a couple of weeks. I think I'll have to double check. If you do, could you confirm if you can drive an EV mode all the way down to 15? Yes, I was actually planning to. You read my mind. I was going to do the same thing for my Sealion 6 test, where I drove it down to 15% just to be sure it's the same DM dual mode intelligent or off-road technology that BYD claims. So stay tuned for that. I don't know that much about Utes. I might ask my neighbor who knows a bit more about Utes, about his opinion actually, about towing and payload and tray and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's keep going. So, okay, so right. Thanks, Mark, for the feedback. I'll try and change the style for the font. Yes, it is quite thin, isn't it? You're right. Let's see if I can change it right now for you real time. Oh, hey, here we go. I can.
No, that's
that's better. Is that better? Or is that better? Maybe block. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. I'll leave that one. That's nice and
easy
big.
to
At
read.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the viewer's icon there too. Nice. You guys ask, and we
We
deliver.
deliver.
That's right. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so this is interesting. So more discounts on its way. So Smart, which I've actually got a #1 at the moment on loan. Smart has dropped the prices of both its EV models to boost sales in early 2025. That's another brand that didn't feature on your list, Riz. So they're not selling too many at the moment, I can see.
Yeah, they're delivering a few, but it's obviously like Smart is being distributed through the LSH Auto dealerships, the Mercedes dealerships. So it's a little bit hard to. They're not reporting yet either, but I guess they're not selling that many either. So hence part of the discounting that goes with it. These are for I think the 2024 build cars. But you know, I mean, you seem to really like the #3, Tom.
I do. I just don't like the price. I think it's just a little bit too high for my liking, unfortunately. What have you got now? So both 1 and 3 are on special now. #1 starts at 54, a bit better. And the 3 can be driven away from 57,900. I'd love to see that sub 50, Riz. That would be like a sweetener. Because they're good cars, they really are. Particularly the 3.
Yeah, and even the one I had, I think I test drove the Pro Plus model, the 22 kilowatt AC. That's crazy. Like you can charge that battery if you had access to a 22 kilowatt charger in like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. And that's in the premium and the Brabus variants. I think the Pro is 7 still, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, it's the mid spec one. Yeah, mid spec and the Brabus. Yeah.
Oh, look at this car. That's my baby. That's beautiful. I love it.
And you know, look, secretly, Tom, I think if the Model Q or the model, whatever that affordable model looks anything like a smaller hatchbacky sort of a mini SUV, I think that would be not SUV. I want it to be more like a hatchback. That'd be a pretty cool looking sort of car as well. So we need more smaller vehicles as well in the market, and this is obviously one of them.
Yep, I agree. Oh, Peter's not happy with the font. All right. Looks like it's still too bold. All right. Peter, I will try again for you. Let's try another one. I agree. It is a little bit bold, isn't it? That's small, isn't it? I'm gonna have to fix that after the show. It is quite bold. Hang on. Oh, I can change the font here. How about that?
Better.
That's better. Bit crisper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's
This,
nice and big.
yeah.
Yeah, let's stick with that. Okay. You got it, Peter. You got that. Thank you for that. I'd like to listen. Okay. All right. Good. We've got better from Gaffer. That's important. Got to keep you guys happy. Without you guys, there is no show. Oh, Gary's got a big yes. Much better. Oh, good. Good. Positive. I like it. Okay, let's keep pushing on. We've got charging news. Don't worry. Someone asked about charging news. We're almost there. We've got news that Amber have acquired Charge HQ. Good friends from Charge HQ. Good to see. The app is fantastic. So good to see them have a second life through Amber as well. For those who don't know, Charge HQ is good for solar charging, amongst other things. If you've got excess solar on your roof, then it helps sort of distribute that to your EV if it's plugged in. Great if you're working from home, for example. So good. All right. And Riz, this is your post. So we're on charging news now. So we've got an update for the Goulburn 20 bay V4 supercharger. Important site for the Sydney to Canberra and Sydney to Melbourne corridor as well.
Yeah, pretty excited about this one. I think definitely this would be the biggest side. I think we also had an update since that post from one of our viewers and listeners as well about how that's progressing, and that's quite good to see. They've got a whole lot. I think all the concreting or the curbs done. They've also got a whole lot of the V4 superchargers in place as well. So maybe this site might even go online in the next week or two. So pretty exciting, pretty cool to see. There was a note, Richard Laxton, a good friend of the show, he mentioned that there's not much trailer-friendly sort of bays, which is a good point. So hopefully Tesla and other charging networks could potentially incorporate more trailer-friendly bays in their designs, but 20 bays, we're happy.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. 20 bays. And I mean, you got to make sure your car that you buy can access the supercharger, because it makes a huge difference to be able to access one of these 20 bays. More bays means less charger anxiety from reliability and also availability as well, especially those busy, school holidays or public holiday driving days when you get, hopefully with 20 bays, there's going to be less queuing and less broken charges, hopefully. So yeah, fingers crossed that will come online pretty soon. And hopefully, you'd expect this to be open access as well, not just restricted to Teslas too.
Yeah.
Yep. So Peter says the new Goulburn site is next door to South KFC, but if you're in the shop, there's a tolerable Indian slops place and a kebab shop a few buildings away at the end of the street. Thanks, Peter. Good tip there. Sorry, Riz, I'm blocking your face there with Peter's
That's right, yeah. I'm all
text.
good.
Maybe there's something slightly smaller. Yeah, how about that? We can still read that, can't we?
I'm good.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, and if you love soggy pies, Trappers Bakery is nearby. Yep, thanks. Thanks, yes, there's one disabled bay as well. Excellent.
Yeah. Actually, just quickly about the amenities. So what the Goulburn, that iconic, disgusting servos car park with chargers that barely ever work. This is a huge step up.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I can't wait to do Melbourne to Sydney in one of those cars, Tom, with you too, just to experience what this site is all about.
I do everything I can to try and avoid that servo. I mean, look, I'm grateful it's there, but yeah, the chargers don't work half the time. It's not the best place to hang out. There's Macca's like just across the street, but you're right, Riz. I prefer something a bit more modern, and hopefully the new Goulburn site will provide that for us commuters and road trippers. I think this is also Goulburn, right? Here we go.
That's the progress on that site. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I can't see any drive-through stalls, but hopefully once it's commissioned, we'll see something that can allow trailers to use. So keep an eye on that, everyone who's driving past. We'll try and post them if you tag us.
Scott said Goulburn open to non-Tesla. I thought it was opened already. Yes, okay, it will be open to non-Teslas.
Yep, according to PlugShare. Thank you. Yeah, Ross, any progress on Atto 3 charging at the Tesla chargers? Well, from what I understand, not you're talking about pre-2024 Atto 3. So 2022, 2023 build Atto 3 still cannot charge at Tesla V4, V3 superchargers. From what I hear, there is a movement to start a class action, Riz, I think, to try and get BYD to fix these for these poor owners. So I think some of the Facebook forums may have some information on this. I don't have anything public yet, so I think there's work being done behind the scenes to get this going.
Yeah, I think it's haven't heard anything more officially from BYD at all. They are working on a fix, which they were working on, over a year ago as well. So not entirely sure what other sort of things are happening, but yes, there is. I've heard the same about a potential class action being organized because, yeah, the Atto 3s, there are thousands of them, over 10,000 that can't charge at a Tesla supercharger. And last time I checked, nearly 60 out of 109 sites in Australia are open to non-Teslas now. That's like over 300 charging bays or charging stalls that are reliable, that Atto 3 owners pre-2024 builds aren't allowed to use. For clarification, BYD continued to sell cars, the Atto 3s, that were built in 2023 up until pretty much halfway through 2024. So there's a lot of cars. That's like, I think, over 10,000 cars there. And those owners just want, not every owner is going to want to have access to a supercharging sort of stall, but they got a CCS2 port. The chargers have a CCS2 plug. They should be able to charge there. And if the Seal owners are starting to get, options to allow them to fix that, I think BYD needs to do the right thing and at least offer it as an option. Even if it's a paid option, it just reduces range anxiety. It improves the overall experience. And yeah, we just need to, BYD, we know you haven't been listening, but, maybe now's the time.
Yeah, I must say I'm a little bit disappointed they were selling those cars knowingly that they still can't charge at a Tesla supercharger, assuming they hadn't disclosed that to potential customers as well. So that's a little bit disappointing on my part, and I'm sure a lot of owners are as well. Because as we've said many, many times, being able to access a Tesla supercharger on a road trip makes the world of difference. It's an easy trip compared to not having the Tesla superchargers. As Riz said, 60 out of 109 sites, so that's more than 60% of Tesla supercharging sites can now charge open access for all vehicles. Well, all vehicles that can do it. Asterisk. Riz, is that potentially a reason why Tesla sales are being degraded too in market share, that other cars can now charge at a supercharger? Partly.
Potentially. I mean, there's you're right, because it's reliable charging infrastructure is important, and I think if you think about Tesla's original sort of mission, whatever they put out there, which is they want to bring everybody on the journey when it comes to sustainable transport, which is part of what was their ethos behind opening the network in Europe first, and then other parts, including Australia. But you're right. I think it's one of the reasons that people have way more options now, right? Regardless of whether you own Tesla as a vehicle or not, you will still end up having a Tesla app if you were doing any sort of road tripping and intended to use any reliable charging network out there.
Yep, that's correct. So, yeah, Paul, good question. Did I hear that BYD or some other company announcing the intention of starting a network in Australia? I don't think there's anything official. I know XPeng and Volkswagen have a partnership in China.
Zeekr.
Zeekr, is that official?
It's official that they are looking pretty aggressively to have Australia and Thailand as their first Zeekr power sort of network outside of China.
Okay, good. Because, yeah, I mean, as we said earlier, Zeekr's got the 7X, that golden brick battery, 5.5C, 10 to 80% in 10.5 minutes. That's quicker than a kebab you can scoff down. So, that's quick, man. So we need those Zeekr power stations.
And I know the name given to that battery is the Golden Brick battery. Having seen that battery in person in December in Ningbo in one of their outside one of their factories, the factory that makes the Zeekr 7X, it is golden. They do wrap it in gold. Well, not gold, but it's got a golden wrapping on it. So when you see the cutaway or cut through of the car, you can see the golden sections, golden blades, or whatever they have inside it. So it's pretty interesting. And in January, the main development was Zeekr 7X configurators online in Europe now, in a few countries, and they will be expecting deliveries by their summer, which is May, June. And the word I've heard in Australia is that it's likely in the second half of this year, but we're definitely getting that car.
Excellent. Well, look, I'm happy to test it at a even at the 350 kilowatts, just to see how fast it is at those 800 volt chargers. So stay tuned. Riz and I will try and get a car to charge and test. So good point here. I want to quickly mention Jason Oakley, the WA EV charging network is now ready and operational. And then Peter saying some sites are down. So again, even though it's the world's longest continuous network, reliability still remains an issue, unfortunately, for these non-Tesla networks. And I think also the Driven might have reported on this too, or someone reported on the fact that there is some downtime with that network at the moment. From what I read,
there's a little bit on that. I think actually just changing, still talking about charging, but changing angles a little bit about unreliable chargers. Our good friend Harold, who does many trips around Australia, his most recent trip a couple of weeks ago, he encountered a pretty bad charger, the NRMA charger. Trying to think where it was. Tennant Creek? No. Out in Nullarbor Roadhouse.
Yep. Is that the one with the diesel backup? That one?
I think that one doesn't have the diesel backup. Okay. Oh, maybe it does. But that one there was not, you couldn't charge two cars simultaneously, although it has two ports. There was a Polestar 2 charging there, and then Harold rocked up with his Model Y, and he was getting 5 kilowatts.
Oh.
And he had better luck going back to the old, I think, the plug that they had installed previously and using his, I think, the converter kit he has in the back of the Model Y to get like 20 odd kilowatts. So NRMA not doing much to fix issues around their remote area sites. And we also need an update from NRMA on how are things tracking on the national charging network, because we don't know.
Yeah. Look, I think hats off to Harold and others who've done, Richard, Neil, we've had on the show, who've done these long trips around Australia. Like, honestly, I'm amazed. I don't think I'd be ballsy enough to take the risk with how unreliable some of these chargers are. And I just don't have the time, unfortunately, with work and family and stuff to take those couple of weeks to do the big lap around Australia. But if you've done this trip, like, honestly, it's an incredible feat what you've done. You guys are the pioneers and girls too. So yeah, keep doing it, because we need to keep testing the reliability and availability of these chargers, make sure they still work, rather than people just saying they're there and not doing much. All right, we'll finish up with a few more charging posts. So here we go. This is one with 4 CCS plugs at Harbour Town Shopping Centre. Where is this?
Is that Gold Coast?
It looks sunny.
Oh, no. Hard to tell, huh? Yeah, because there's a Harbour Town Shopping Centre on the Gold Coast, and I'm trying to picture where this is, but that doesn't look like the same.
There's a Macca's.
Yeah.
Amenities. Well, look, 4 plugs is good. Yeah.
Yep.
We need more of those for sure.
10 minutes from the airport. Definitely not the Gold Coast one then.
Oh, right. I wonder which airport. Harbour Town. It's definitely not Sydney.
Good to see we've got NG rolling out more chargers under the ChargeFox.
Yep, Chem Power as well. The long
Adelaide
ports.
Eddie's.
Adelaide. Thank you. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it. Some town with the harbour. Yeah, could be anywhere. All right, cool. What else we got? We've got Another Tesla Supercharger site coming to the Central Coast, New South Wales. Looks like V4.
Yeah, so Jim's right. There's a couple of sites that haven't opened for whatever reason. They've been sort of in a state of partially opening. There's another one in Sydney as well. Oh yeah,
Bankstown?
Bankstown. That's the one.
Yeah, it must be
So
something behind the scenes I need to work out because it looks pretty
power.
much complete, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
power, of course. Yep. So that'd be good. Like Central Coast has got one already, but obviously more the merrier. And hang on, I was going to share that, but I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. Let's go again. I was going to share Genesis when I was away. Genesis have opened up a flagship store in Sydney, in North Strathfield. So that looks pretty schmick. And I think there's a new GV60 update coming as well later this year.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. That looks pretty good. They do look good, actually, Riz, the GV60s.
Yeah. Even to this day, it's been out for a couple of years now.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Nice one. All right, we'll try and get out there sometime, have a look. And we'll finish up with Roland's post. Ioniq 6 facelift spotted. There we go.
Cool wheels.
Cool wheels, yep. There you go, close up. Back looks... Does it still look 911-ish?
Yeah, a little
Hard to tell.
Yeah, Roland's got a... Yeah, it's awesome.
Korean 911. Yeah, I can see where, where people get that notion. It does look a bit 911-ish from the back. I know, I'm not a big fan of the current Ioniq 6 look, to be honest with you. I like the 5, but the 6 looks a bit underwhelming, just personally. But yeah, we'll see what the facelift looks like in time. Okay, well, I think that might be it for tonight, everyone. So thanks for all your comments, everyone. So let's draw this for the Everything Electric show in Sydney. Let's just put this up for now. So we've got 7th to the 9th of March, which is like 4 weeks' time. The show is coming to Sydney for its 3rd iteration, I think. So should be good. Riz and I will be there. I think I've been roped in to do a live review on stage for I don't know which car yet, but something. So if you want to watch me make a fool of myself live, then I'll do this every week. But if you want to see me in person do that, then I'll be doing a live review with one of the hosts on stage. So come along. But we've got 2 double passes to give away tonight. So all you need to do is just type #electric into the live chat, and then we will do a draw very shortly for 2 double passes. So I'll give you guys a few more seconds while we do that and wait for everyone. Riz, any cars coming up for you for review?
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be getting a Leap motor in the next couple of days, so that'll be interesting to see. It's copped quite a few negative reviews across mainstream media. Same problem as most of the other cars have around the ADAS system. We'll see how good, bad, or indifferent it is. And mind you, all of these things can be improved via software. And one last thing for our viewers and listeners, while we've been on this recording this show, I've just received an email from Volvo. And they've said, meet our first ever fully electric cross country. So on the 10th of February on YouTube, they will be unveiling the EX30 cross country. Which aims to elevate everyday life, urban living, and outdoor adventure. So
so EX30, which is the smaller 4.2 meter little hatch thing.
It's the jacked up version of that, I think.
What, with roof rails and like Defender, things that saddlebags that hang off the back? Like, is that what they want? Like, I'm curious now.
Well, we haven't got a photo of it yet. It's going to be unveiled on the 10th of February. So anyone interested, keep an eye out for our EX30 cross country.
And I see the the Volvo electric lineup has been what's the word? The naming convention's been sort of streamlined, right? So EX30, EX40 now instead of XC40.
Yeah.
And I think the EX90 is coming as well.
It
soon?
is. So that will be the pricing got released starting at 124,900. It's supposed to be like the Polestar 3, I guess.
Okay.
But a 7-seat version. So Polestar 3 is only 5-seater.
Okay. 7-seater
So
will be good.
the EX90 will be sort of replacing the XC90. But yeah, Volvo's lineup is also growing.
So from my point of view, I've got the #1 at the moment. Leap Motor's coming as well to the channel. We'll be doing a review shortly, and I've got the Polestar 3 and 4 as well sometime this month. So it should be good. The 4 I'm looking forward to without the rear view window, just relying on the camera. So that should be an interesting experience. All right, let's draw, everyone. So 48 entries, I think that's enough. So 2 double passes. If you win, please email me, tom@ludicrousfeed.com. Send those passes out to you. So let's do it. All right, first one is... Still need my drum roll music. Haven't sorted that out yet. Who have we got? First double pass going to Old Chev. Congratulations, Old Chev. You are the winner of our first double pass. We'll give some more each week, so don't worry if you don't get one tonight. Old Chev, send me an email, tom@ludicrousfeed.com. We'll get those passes out to you. And second double pass for tonight is thank you, everyone, for entering tonight. Great to see so much engagement. Really appreciate it. And Mitch Brill, congratulations. You are the winner of our second double pass for the Everything Electric show in Sydney. Should be good. The EE Fully Charged gang will be around for that. So, yeah, congratulations. Send me an email, tom@ludicrousfeed.com. Okay, well, Riz, nice to see you as always. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Likewise, it's quite good. Just before we go, I can see in the chat there's a bit of conversation on the Geely. So Geely has quietly opened pre-orders for the EX5 electric SUV. No pricing. You don't need to put any deposit to get a pre-order. I put one in anyway. And then Artarmon Geely rang me today, and I was busy, so I don't know why I chose Artarmon, but they've got a fair few dealerships already. So if you go through the configurator just for fun, you will select your state, and you'll see a whole lot of dealers out there. So they've done quite well in getting a lot of dealers on board. And Geely sold over 2 million cars last year. The EX5 seems to be an Atto 3 sort of rival. So a lot of activity happening in this space. Awesome time to kickstart our show again, Tom, and for all our viewers and listeners to be getting involved. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And Riz, I think I know why you chose Artarmon. Any reason come to Sydney and then drive back to Melbourne, right, in the Geely.
That's it.
All right, cool. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for your comments as well. Congratulations to our winners, and yeah, thanks for watching on replay and also listening to us on audio podcast. And on behalf of Riz and myself, until next week, same time, same channel, it's good night and happy charging. Take care.